Hey everybody again, this is Clayton coming back with a new video. This video is going to focus on two main topics. One is a proposed situation that we may face in the future, and I want to explain how I feel about it. And the second is Carnival Cruise Lines. Obviously, we've touched on this in the past, but it kind of just reassures my stance that I had previously. And I wanted to touch upon something that CNBC had shared over the weekend. And the first thing, obviously, as I always do with every video, is just to look at my gains. I'm sitting at, I think it's still $8.35. I think that's what it was last video. I'm quite pleased with that, as I said every single week. If I sound a little different or if I cough occasionally, I'm going to try to lean away from the mic. I am starting to get sick, and I apologize for anybody that this may upset, if I do happen to cough away from the microphone, or if my voice does sound a little hoarse or anything like that. Tomorrow, as I think I've gone over in a previous video, I've switched up my depositing to $125 every 2 weeks instead of $250 once a month. And it looks like I've got 5 trades coming tomorrow, which I haven't even looked at. Let me see what we got going in tomorrow. So we got AT&T, we got Wells Fargo, we got Carnival again, Disney, and okay, I'm cool with tomorrow. It's nice. So the beginning of this that I wanted to focus on, let me go back to the portfolio. The thing I wanted to focus on first was, it was over the weekend, Larry Kudlow, who is the U.S. Economic Counsel Director, mentioned something along the lines of the White House are considering an incentive to spur stock buying by essentially making it where some of the money put into the stock market would be tax-free. And I've seen different people say different things about this. Here, let me pull up the article about it. White House considering incentive to spur stock buying. I've seen different stances on this. I've seen people love it. I've seen people hate it. Me personally, it's not something I think is good in the end for investors. Myself as a dividend investor, I don't think it'll have too much of risk with, but for your common standard investor or especially day trader, I think this is going to be horrible. And I'll explain my reasoning and logic for this. And if you think I'm wrong or you feel like I'm just not understanding it fully, please put in the comments below, because I'd love to just kind of have a debate or discussion on this. Because from what I've read and what I've seen, it looks like, as you can kind of see in the article here, the proposed, there's a few different things they're looking at, but one of them would be that under this scenario, one of the things that were described is people earning up to $200,000 could invest $10,000 of that, and the income would be on a tax-free basis. I'm sorry, I don't know why that popped up, but let's get that out of here. Sorry about that. Get out of the screen. Anyways, so there's two or three different ways now that I've seen that they were talking about doing this. And I've seen there was mention of, at the end of the year, you get a tax credit for what you've invested. Again, there's nothing is set in stone. It hasn't been passed. It's barely been proposed. It was essentially just thrown out by Larry Kudlow. But it's caused a lot of discussion I've seen online, different Facebook groups, and on Reddit. So I kind of want to just give my own opinion on it. But it could be through tax credits. There was one statement that I saw that they mentioned that it may be a income tax exempt, so it just comes directly out of your paycheck and goes straight into, I'm not sure how they would do that, because like with M1 Finance, can I link it to my M1 Finance account? Does it go to a larger account that I then need to transfer? Do I have to use a specific broker? I'm not really sure how that would work, but let's just say hypothetically they make it all planned out. $10,000 of $200,000, which I make nowhere close to, goes into, I can use on depositing into my stocks, and it goes income tax free. The thing that scares me about this policy is the people that are investing in the stock market now, for the most part, are people that understand the stock market and understand the ups and downs that come with the stock market. My fear is when you push this incentive, the goal of it obviously is to get more people to invest into the market. There's no other reason to do it. It's not to keep the market as is. It's not to decrease it. It's meant to increase who invests in the market because they have an incentive to do so. But with that, my fear is people that don't follow the market all that closely or don't understand the market all that well are going to overreact in changes they see in the market. So a perfect example of this on a small scale was what you saw, 2 weeks ago now, a week and a half ago, with Tesla. A lot of people were afraid of FOMO and needed to get some Tesla stock as that stock jumped drastically, as everyone knows. And now it's kind of come back down. I think it's sitting around high 700s, mid 700s. I don't have any Tesla stock, so I haven't followed it all that closely. obviously, but it's been talk of the town for anyone that does or anyone that wanted to get into it. But things like that are my fear, is that people are just going to react without having true knowledge of the market. And because of this, I feel like the stocks are going to be all over the place because people are going to sell when they get scared. People are going to buy when they think they need to buy. They're going to essentially follow people, and I'll even say people like me. They're going to follow people they see online or read on the newspaper and say, you need to buy this stock without doing a lot of research. Excuse me. And that's a problem for anyone that is investing in the market, because with the market changing so drastically, potentially changing so drastically, because so many people that don't understand the market are now investing in the market, it's going to cause problems, I think, for everyone involved as the stocks get sold off quickly, get purchased, and the stock values go up more than they probably should. And it just makes the market a volatile place. I could obviously be completely wrong on all of this, and maybe it's great for the economy and it's great to have more people in the market. For me, I like to see more people investing in the stock market because to me it's easy money when you know what you're doing. There's obviously risks with it. There's no risk-free investments. That's not a thing. There are plenty of buffers when it comes to risk that you can do for research wise to kind of prevent the risk and keep it as minimal as possible. But I think that this would cause a giant problem. And I truly would love to see people in the comments tell me why I'm wrong on this. Because I want to believe that this is a great idea. And I want to believe that this is a good decision. And it'll help increase the markets and it'll help everybody along those lines and introduce more people to the stock market and help everybody out in the long run. Because like I said, to me, the stock market is something that a lot of people are missing out on because a lot can't afford it. Unfortunately, I am lucky enough to be in a situation where I can, but there's just some people that just don't have the means to invest in the market right now. And creating this incentive, to me, one is just opening up risk to people that may not be able to afford or accept the risk. Like some people are going to be investing in the markets now. Some people are already investing in markets now that can't take the risks that they take. So now you're going to include an incentive to essentially people that don't know the market very well, saying you're going to have up to $10,000 in this proposed plan, this proposed idea that Larry Kudlow had. You'll have $10,000 to spend and potentially make money on tax-free. And it worries me. It does. It just worries me for people, as I've said before, that aren't educated in the stock market and what it could do to people and the risks that many will take. Because I know myself, and I can almost guarantee a lot of you know people who take a lot of risk and a lot of financial just chances that they shouldn't take. One example here in Florida is you'll find a lot of people that essentially invest in the lottery. I know they're not a fair comparison. They're not even close. One has a lot more behind it with stocks and things like that. So I'm not putting apples to apples here. But my point is people just invest blindly into the lotto to say, oh, I have a chance to win money here. And that's the only similarities I'm putting here is my fear is that people will just invest blindly because there's a tax incentive to do it because it's an easy way to make money, quote unquote, in their eyes. That is what scares me with this proposal. Hopefully I'm wrong. Obviously, it's just a proposal. Nothing's been even, I think, put to paper. I think it was just Larry Kudlow, who again is the U.S. Economic Counsel Director. I think he was just talking about it openly, but it worries me when I see that at all because of just what it could lead to. Now, aside from all that rambling, what I also want to talk about was a stock that I've talked about before in a previous video, and I'm going to link that video up in the top right corner. I think it's under commercial, if I'm not mistaken. Where do I have? Yeah, there's Carnival Cruise Lines. Excuse me. So obviously everyone has seen, and Carnival stock is down. Today's a Monday, so there's no trading going on because it's President's Day here in the United States. That the stock is starting to fluctuate and isn't doing great because everyone's freaking out about the coronavirus, which is a very serious threat. And obviously over the last few weeks, it has become a lot more severe than it seems like people were expecting. You had heard a lot of people mention it before, but now that the death toll has increased above what SARS had killed, and they're finding it outside of other countries, minimal, but it is still outside of other countries. I think the United States now, I think there's only been one case that was found in the U.S. It may be more. I'm talking simply off of what I've heard in the last month. I haven't really done research on it here. So very well could be 15, 20. I just heard of one a few weeks ago. But either way, my point is the coronavirus has started to cause a lot of problems in the travel industry, specifically cruise lines. As we've all seen, there are many cruise lines that are either docked and they're keeping all of their passengers on board and they're not letting them off, or that's mainly what it is. You're seeing a lot of stories about passengers being essentially on quarantine while on a ship and not being let off. And CNBC did a video that I kind of wanted to show and touch on, and this is why I still love this stock. And I'll explain at the end of this video, because this video doesn't make it seem all that enticing to invest in a cruise line stock, but I'll explain it as the video goes along. I'll stop it about halfway through. So let me play it right now.
Emergency workers in hazmat suits and military personnel in masks seen boarding the Diamond Princess in Japan. Inside, thousands of quarantined passengers counting the days in their cabins.
We're no longer on a cruise. You know, all of the luxury of having someone, a steward, come into the cabin, make the bed, put chocolates on the pillow, those days are gone. It just ain't happening.
We're on day 3 of the quarantine, and I exit out like a jail cell. I'm getting to be a good prisoner.
In Cambodia, the MS Westerdam was finally allowed to dock after 5 other nations denied entry to their ports, even though there were no sick passengers on board.
I have to say it's distressing to read about it in the news.
32 million passengers are expected to take a cruise this year. But with headlines like these, are people still booking them? Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian, the 3 largest cruise lines, making up some 80% of sales worldwide, would not share their numbers with us. But travel industry analyst Harry Curtis gave us his.
Bookings are down for the top 3 cruise lines. In the first 5 to 7 days, they were down 5 to 10%, and in the most recent 5 to 7 day period, 10 to 15%.
So right here, to me, is one of the reasons why I think investing in cruise line stocks, specifically Carnival, again, I haven't really looked at others, glanced at them briefly, but I really like Carnival and what they've done in the past, and where it looks like they're going. Because the numbers being down like this are going to likely lead in a stock decrease in the coming future, I would imagine. As their numbers start to roll in and their quarterly numbers come in, you're going to see the figures are lower and people are going to panic about it and expect the stocks to continue to fall. So this is a stock, if you don't already own Carnival, I would recommend looking at. Again, I've said this 1,000 times, but I'll say it again. I am not a financial investor. I simply just do research on my own, find information that I like, and want to share with you guys and discuss my thinking of it. You cannot agree with it. That's perfectly fine. Please do not make an investment because of me. I can maybe lead you to a stock, but please do your own research to see if it's something that you are comfortable with, feel comfortable with. And to me, Carnival Cruise Lines, especially with the numbers seeming to drop for cruise sales, is something that I am very comfortable with. But let the video continue, and you'll see why these numbers don't scare me in the slightest.
And while you might expect the passengers stuck on these ships to never take another cruise, think again.
Would I do it again? Absolutely yes. It's been a brilliant cruise.
We would definitely cruise with Princess again. They didn't do this to us.
If you're stuck somewhere, a luxury cruise liner is not a bad place to be stuck.
And what are the cruise lines doing to make this right? For guests on the Westerdam and Diamond Princess, it's a full refund and credit towards the next trip. And according to the travel insurance site Insure My Trip, since the first case of the virus was detected in the U.S., there's been a 60% increase in travel insurance policies that allow you to cancel for any reason.
Now, I will say this. I don't know anything about the travel insurance industry, but if that's got a stock, I guarantee that's up right now. That just making light of a bad situation, unfortunately. But the reason I say that I like Carnival stock, as you saw with those people that are, I know it's not a Carnival cruise line, but the people that you've seen on these cruise lines are, regardless of what's going on right now with this crisis and the numbers going to be less because of it, this is an industry that's going to rebound. Rebound. Wow, that was a weird way to say that word. Rebound. So to me, once this virus passes or is hopefully controlled, It could be a little bit. I think this is going to be one of those stocks that I'm going to keep for a very long time. And I see no end in sight for me with Carnival. Through all of this, it gives me more reason why I want to hold on to this stock. Because I think that it's got a very bright future, as I've discussed in a previous video. And this coronavirus, though very unfortunate for everyone involved, and even for companies like Carnival, I think in the end, as an investor, they'll end up coming out on this. And I'll be better off for investing in Carnival. I do hope everyone that is infected with it or is around it takes as much precaution as they can. Infected, obviously, you know what I mean, they're get as much help as you can, and please, I wish everybody the best. But for anyone else, precaution is at a most when it comes to this. The main purpose of this video, like I said, was I want to talk about the Economic Counsel Director Larry Kudlow's idea, why I don't like it, and why it scares the ever-loving crap out of me. And just kind of touch on Carnival, because I saw that video the other day while I was scrolling through YouTube. I was like, oh, it's kind of talking about what I've discussed in the past about how the Carnival stocks will likely go down a little bit more in the future, and it's nothing to be scared about. So if anyone's got it, I just wanted to kind of reassure them that don't worry about the numbers if they come out in the next few weeks or months and it looks like the stock is dropping. It's mainly just catching up from this, and their sales are going to be decreasing, and it'll bounce itself back. I can't guarantee that, but history has shown that we should be fine with this, similar to when SARS did this to the cruise industry. But that's going to be it for this video. I thank anybody for watching. As always, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. It always helps the YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the video, feel free to subscribe. This is something I'm going to be doing consistently, hopefully 2 times a week. Some weeks it may be 1. It just depends on what's going on in my personal schedule and work. But I really look forward to hearing from anyone that's watching this that would love to put some input in. I always like to interact with people when it comes to this topic specifically. And if you've got any ideas for future videos or you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm going to be reading them and responding to as many people as I can. And again, thank you all for coming. Have a great rest of your day.